Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and this is Keeping It Real Debt and Budgeting. I am doing a check-in for my paycheck that posted April 11th, and I'm seeing how I'm doing on my budget and also on my debt payoff. To give a little background, I am 40 years old. I make about $100,000 a year and I am about $40,000 in consumer debt. So I have a set plan on how to pay off that debt and a lot of debt this year. And so if you want to follow along, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I do have some receipts to enter into my app. I am a digital budgeter, so I keep all of my balances and information in an application on my phone that breaks them down into my different categories that I'm focused on for my budget. So let's first put these items in my phone. Let me open my budgeting application. And hopefully my camera likes recording my phone today, even though it'll be a little blurry for you guys. But we are looking at my paycheck. My next one will hit this coming Thursday on the 25th. So right now I do have a balance of $410 remaining in my accounts, but I do need some of that to roll over. So let me go ahead and pull up my receipts, see if my phone will kind of stay. So I do have a receipt from Walmart. So we just hit the plus and we are doing Walmart. Walmart is typically under my household, and I do have some groceries in here, but I'm going to go ahead and put it under my household just because it will all wash out anyway. So I spent $53.61 at Walmart. It is incredible at how quickly all of these purchases add up. Then I did do my grocery shopping. I went to Publix. And so if I put Publix in there, it automatically puts it into the groceries. And this was actually, I was very mindful about what we're going to eat for our meal plan this week. So I only spent $119 at the grocery store. So that leaves us with, I'm not sure when my pest control bill is going to be coming out. I just put a roundabout number. So that leaves me with $237 rolling over, which we'll have to plug that in whenever I budget for my next paycheck and see how that comes out. But now that we have this in here, let me go over to my actual budget and we can plug in these extra numbers and see how we did. All right, so we have our screen recording going. And so I do need to change this household amount up here. Let's look. I already have my formula down here, but we do need to add that most recent Walmart trip. So that is $53.61. Helps if I actually add it. That brings us to the $177 for the household. Groceries, I also need to add the $119 and 12 cents. So everything else is already put in. Those were the only two items that I purchased earlier today that I needed to put into this spreadsheet. So if we look, there was my salary, which was the $26.42. I did have $46 roll over from last paycheck, and I was hoping to roll $300 over. I'll have to see exactly what that number is at the end of the week when my paycheck hits on Thursday, but I think right now, what did we say? It was 200 and something. So that did leave me with $23.89 to be able to budget. I always pay myself first with my money markets and with my savings. And I added this category over here to track my balances. And the main thing, my money market balance went up quite a bit. I ended up having like $1,700 in a traditional IRA at my credit union, and it was earning 0.25%. So it was just sitting there doing nothing. So I went ahead and I closed that IRA. I paid the taxes up front, so I'm not surprised with a higher tax bill at the end of the year. And so I was able to roll some of that money over, plus pay off some other debts. And so I wanted to have that money work for me rather than earning such little interest that it was basically sitting there being useless. So that did increase my money market balance, which will allow me down the line to feel a little bit more comfortable with an emergency fund, but also be able to pay off higher debts as well. So I'm ending this pay period with $350 in high yield, $300 in my tax account, $244 in my Get Fit account, which is another savings account that I use as kind of like a miscellaneous envelope that I can pull from whenever I need. Then I do have an Acorns account. Right now, the stock market is not doing so well, so my Acorn account actually has dropped a little bit, but I'm okay with that. I put $12.50 a week into this account just to see what it will do over the lifetime of me investing. So that does leave me with $3,600 in savings. These are the bills that I ended up paying this paycheck for the $1,193 essentially. Now here's where we're looking at my actual expenses and budgeted items. I will always be adding different things to this spreadsheet, and this is why I love digital budgeting, because it allows me to do the formulas and let this do the math for me. So because I did go over on my household last paycheck, I did decrease the amount, but of course I went over. So I was $81 over on my budget for household. For gas, I am over. I ended up having to put gas in our truck again, and this will get me through. I need to use the truck to do a couple things where I need to go visit some patients down some dirt roads. I do live in a more rural area, and so I do need to take the truck to visits from time to time. So I did need to fill up the truck again. So that's where that overage is. But that is not common. We had to do a lot of driving the past 2 pay periods because of our dog having the surgery. With the groceries, I went over by the $37. That's not too bad. I did stock up on some things, and that could have been further down if I would not have just stocked up on some staple items. Again, because we're in the country, to get to like a Target, it is over an hour away. So if I'm going to be stocking up on things, like we get our coffee at Target from the Good and Gather brand. So if I'm going to be stocking up on coffee, it's because I don't want to have to drive an hour to pick up coffee if we are getting low. And then I went over a little bit on pets. I bought the dog some new toys at TJ Maxx, and shame on me, they had already destroyed one of the toys within about 2 hours of me getting it home. But I do like to spoil them with some new toys and some new enrichment from time to time. So I did go over by $26 for the pets. Now that leaves me at $184 that I went over budget on my expenses. Now, of course, this does not mean that I am overdrafting my account. This just means that I am going out of the bounds of what I wanted to budget. Now, I did have no medical costs, and I did not buy anything from Amazon, but I did have $18.39 in what I call taquitos, and that is a nod to Caleb Hammer, who does the Financial Audit Show. That's running into gas stations and picking up some snacks. My husband and I went out of town. I say out of town, but again, to do anything is going out of town. We actually went to Target, and so we went out of town to Target, and we picked up some snacks for the road. We typically do, but he went a little bit overboard with picking up some snacks, so I will blame that on him. But that does mean that I went $8.39 over budget on my miscellaneous. So for pulling it all together, I was able to fully fund my savings. I was able to pay all of my bills. My expenses were over by the $184, and my miscellaneous was over by the $8.39. So that did put me over budget by $192.48. My income's there, and then there is my budget versus my actual. Now we can see that I still have $240 something left in my account. So even though I'm reading an $83 right here, that obviously is not matching up to what my account is. I always do have a little bit of extra in there as a buffer. The main thing that I was able to do was that I did have $730 worth of purchases on my credit union card, and I was basically able to pay that off altogether. I don't know where this $575 is hanging off. Maybe I did my math a little bit wrong, but basically that card is at a functional 0. I do have some subscriptions that will be hitting, and we'll be talking about that a little bit more in next paycheck also. I do pay for Canva Premium, and I decided to go ahead and do the yearly yearly membership, and that's going to be coming out in the beginning of May. So I'm going to have to account for that $120 purchase coming out to pay for my yearly Canva. I'd rather pay for it yearly than pay for it monthly and be able to just not worry about it being a monthly expense in my subscriptions. But right now, my credit union card is basically at a functional zero. I didn't put any purchases onto the Discover card, and I put no purchases onto the Capital One card. So let me go over to my main monthly budget. And this is where we might need to do some different addition. So I have my 2 paychecks for April, and we'll go ahead and we'll do some addition. So I did have $154.47 in the first paycheck for household and $177.09 in the second paycheck. So my monthly, make sure I'm in the right field, would come down to $331.56. My gas has not changed. I have not bought any gas since I updated these numbers. My groceries did change. So for the beginning, we had $580.31, which that was the Sam's Club that I went to. So that's going to push us over. And then $437.71. Wow, this is really over. But I kind of expected this. Oh, I actually have this one added up. So let me, as long as it matches the number that is on my calculator, we should be good. But we need to add the portion of the Target run, which was groceries, 06 plus 35.52, and then also plus 119.12. So 118.02. So that matches. And then pets, we are looking at 58.44 plus the 42.65. So we spent 101.09 on pets. So that was over by $364. And again, this might need to be where I'm breaking some of the groceries things up to the like Sam's Club items. There's certain things that, like my husband's pre-workout, he'll have me grab one for him, but then he'll like, and again, my husband and I, we keep our finances separate, and that might seem weird to some people, but I will grab like a $30 pre-workout thing for him, and then the next time that we're going out and doing something, he'll purchase something for me for $30. So it ends up washing, but it does end up coming out into my grocery budget that those might be 2 different separate times that I'm buying him his pre-workout at the store. So I don't look too heavily into this as long as I'm keeping to my debt schedule and also, of course, not overdrafting my account. We're still in a good zone. The taquitos I also need to change because we did have $18.39 and then also $5.77. And I did joke with my husband that he was pushing me over my budget for my taquitos because he bought too many snacks for himself. I put it in the wrong spreadsheet. So there we are. And then nothing new from Amazon. All of that added up. I didn't fill in this part yet. I will have to look at this because I had a lot of money moving around. This part here, I probably need to do a little bit more looking into to see how I ended the month because I ended up paying another account early, which I believe is the Discover card. Let me pull up my balance for my Discover card real quick. So that is correct. I did make a $500 payment actually today. So when that posts, that is what our numbers are going to be. I paid off my credit union card basically to a functional zero. These are some subscription items that are hanging out there that will get paid on the next payment. My union card, I made the $652. I also made some additional small payments. So that is what we're looking like. I also just sold my old laptop. The Discover card is higher because I bought myself a new laptop. I just sold my old laptop, and so I'll be getting $300 in for that I can either stick away in savings or I can put that towards a debt as well. But both the Union card and the Discover card are at a 0% interest, and I do have a plan to pay them both off before that interest hits. So we are looking at, this is the other part that kind of hurts, that we're still looking at $11,000 worth of payments, but only $2,700 of my debt is reducing. So that, again, is my wake-up call. But it is good this month to be at this green because this means that I'm going in the right direction, that I don't have new charges on my accounts. The Union card was for me transferring the balance. The credit union card was for items that I put on there. But again, I'm pretty much at a functional zero right now because I was able to take some of that extra money from the IRA that I closed out and kind of just get me down to a zero. We do have some family coming to visit, and so I have been picking up some things for the house. We have not had visitors in a very long time, so I'm not prepared. And I know, of course, family is not looking for a 5-star hotel type of treatment, but of course, I would like my family to be comfortable. I'm also setting aside some extra pantry items to be able to feed extra people whenever they come. It's been so long since I have cooked for more than 2 people, so that is definitely something that is different. But I love that I'm going in the right direction with my payments and that I was able to get my credit union card down. So looking towards the future a little bit, I don't think that I'm pulling up my Discover card. I made that $500 payment and I don't have another payment that's going to post until June. So that $500 payment is considered May's payment. So we won't see a lot of movement on the Discover card. And then on my credit union, again, that will stay at a functional zero. And then for my Union card, I will have a payment going towards the Union card in May. So we'll be able to see that go down. I have a huge payment for the Union card in June, so we're going to see a big drop in that balance. But definitely I am very happy that I continue to stay on my journey. I know my budgeting is not like very strict and I'm not necessarily staying within my budget with a lot of things, but I just know that things happen. You need extra gas sometimes. That's why I keep a buffer. But my main goals are to stay on my debt payment schedule and also my savings schedule. And so I have very strict goals for myself for saving and for debt payoff this year. And so far, I've been able to stick to those. I think I'm going to have my budgeting for next paycheck up on next Saturday. I am taking one of our cars in for service on Friday, so I'm curious how much that is going to end up costing me. But I am excited to continue to stay on my debt payoff journey. So thank you to anybody who is watching and supporting this community on YouTube for debt payoff. It is so supportive and I have loved joining it and being a part of it. Plus these videos are helping to keep me accountable and keeping me encouraged with my savings goals and my debt payoff goals. I really hope to kick it into high gear over the summer and really get some of these numbers down. So I really hope that you guys will subscribe and stick around to encourage me and also watch me pay off so much of this debt this year. I appreciate everybody who is watching, everybody who has subscribed. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. But for the rest of the week, I am going to focus on not spending any money since I already went over on my budget. But I look forward to planning my budget for my next paycheck on April 25th, and I'll see you guys in that video. Bye!